Welcome to the Tina Parker Show, where we burn the bullshit, speak the truth, and build brands that break chains. I'm Tina Parker, spiritual badass, truth teller, and the woman who turns pain into purpose. If you're ready to lead with fire, heal out loud, and drop the damn mic, you're home.
What is up, beautiful souls? Okay, welcome to another episode of the Tina Parker Show. I'm so excited to be back with you today. Okay, I have a great show today. Before I get started, I wanted to, this is about when doors close. We were going to talk about Charlie Kirk and his example. We can learn a lot about that man and his mission and all the incredible things that he did. There is a lot of wild things going on in the world right now, right? And we can get caught up in that, even on social media. Social media is a beautiful place. I love social media. It's a great way to build your brand. It's a great way to connect with people. I love it for that purpose. Especially like your old friends, that you haven't seen or talked to in a long time. It can be such a beautiful tool. And but it also, if you are in a period in your life where you're being distracted or you are in isolation, it can be a lot of noise and it can actually take you off the trajectory of your life. And it actually can confuse you because of the noise. You're listening to too many people and that causes you to question yourself. Okay, so I wanted to mention that because it's important that we, you know, are aware of that and we are aware of how it can affect us and our health, our mental health, okay? But let's talk about Charlie Kirk. I mean, there's so much noise going on in the world, and there's a lot of questionable things that happened with the terrible loss of his life way too early, right? And but what an incredible man and human, you know, and what he created with Turning Point and how he was bold and used his voice to share with the world his truth, um, his faith, all of those things, to bring awareness and help the world become a better, help humans become a help humans become better humans. Because we need it. The world needs it right now more than anything. And so I wanted to say, I don't know where you're at in your life, but for me, something that am taking away from Charlie Kirk and his example is that if he taught us anything, he taught us to use our voice, to have fire in our soul, and share that with the world. I believe we're all here for a purpose. And especially if you, ladies, if you've been through a lot, if you're in a season of survival, you've been betrayed, you are hanging on by a thread, I want you to know that you need it right now more than anything. Okay? I know. Okay? I have, there's so many areas in this world, like maybe you don't trust the church leaders anymore. Maybe you, because I always, well, okay, I didn't grow up in the church, the LDS church, but I will say that I was going when I got older. I'm a convert. I was going when I was older. And there was some things that I didn't agree with. And it got to a point where I felt strongly that I don't need to get my faith in the four walls of a building. Okay. especially when you see things that don't make sense and you're questioning things from leaders that are pushing agendas or running it in a way that doesn't make sense. And I believe goes against Yahweh's way of running things, you know? So you have to use your own discernment in that. It doesn't matter what faith you're in, but I believe there's not bad people in, well, I guess there can be actually, but my experience is I had wonderful friends and relationships in my church. I just didn't agree with the way they run things, and so I stepped away. So I've been working on my faith outside of, it says seek and you will find. I've been working on my own faith outside of church, like going to a church building. Just just to let you know. But I will say, if I've learned anything from Charlie Kirk, I've learned that I need to use my voice, amplify my voice, and I hope that my example will help inspire you as well. But I also have an incredible message for you ladies today, because you might be in isolation. You might have had doors close on you, and I want to be a light and share what I have learned and experienced with you. And hopefully it will help you in your season. So this episode is when doors close, finding the strength in isolation, okay? And, and also, you didn't have to agree with Charlie Kirk with everything he said, but you cannot deny his boldness. So I will hope that you ladies will find that bold and that courage, boldness and your courage to show up in a new way. Okay? All right. So we're here to amplify our fire. If you don't know, if I didn't mention it, I'm the founder of the Women of Action Academy. And action, there's an acronym for that. And I had it in the intro and you might have missed it, but A is for action. Okay? We are here. So Yahweh, God, okay, but his real name is Yahweh. He is the architect. All right? But he needs us to take action. He's the architect, but he needs us to make moves. All right? I want you to know that. And then C is connect. We want to connect with people. We want to share our truth. We want to share who we are and connect with those that align with us. T is for transform. We should be working on our own transformations, and we're going to transform multiple times throughout our lives. But you might be in a space where you just feel defeated. And I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that feel defeated right now. But I'm here to pull the fire back in you, okay? Help you find your fire again. Reignite your fire and transform yourself. Because sometimes you're not even sure where to start, and I'm going to tell you right now, you start with you. Not a job, not a person, none of that. Focus on you right now, okay? That's how you're going to do it. So let's move forward. Okay, so this episode is for the woman who feels alone, the one who's been doing everything right, or maybe you're in a stuck mode, a holding position, and you're like, I don't even know what to do. We've got all this noise going on. The world's like crazy. I just want you to know, and especially because you might be one that had fire. You might be one that was driven and just like unstoppable. And then life, okay, knocked you on your ass. Life might have You might have been betrayed. You might be separated, going through a divorce, divorced. You might have lost your job. Something you might be in that season, okay? And so sometimes you get to a place where you just don't trust people anymore. That's real. Or you don't know who to trust. And there's so much noise, and you're like, are they talking to me? Oh my gosh, am I supposed to be doing this? Is this a sign? Oh, I have to tell you this beautiful sign that I received today. Mm, it's incredible. I want to share it with you today. So stay tuned for that, because he answers our prayers. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. He answers our prayers. It was like unbelievable. Okay, so this is for the woman that feels like maybe every door that you try to open, or a person, I mean, you've lost everyone, right? Or maybe you don't even want to talk to anyone right now. You're just like, you know what? I don't even know who I could trust. I don't want to connect with anyone. I just want to like be in a ball, you know? Um, Take a breath. I'm going to tell you that. Take a breath. Sometimes if you're feeling anxious in that, if you just breathe in, hold it, and then breathe out. Really heavy though, okay? The breathing out needs to come out heavy. It's like kind of a crazy, but there's energy in our bodies and we need to let that out. Okay? And the breathing, you'll feel completely different if you do that 10 times, okay? I want you to know that you're not being punished, that this is preparation. You are in a season of preparation. And I've learned that let me tell you, let's talk about Yeshua, okay? Jesus. Because I thought, for today's lesson, I want to know, what did he do during a season of isolation when doors were closed on him, okay? Because that happened. So let's talk about it. So even Yeshua, the son of Yahweh, went through a season of isolation, okay? He was rejected, isolation, and he was betrayed. And through it all, he showed us exactly what to do in the world that turns silent. So if you feel like the world has turned silent on you, if you feel you have no one to turn to, you can turn to me if you want. I would love that. Connect with me in the comments. And by the way, if you have a comment, you can write it and it will now show up on the screen. All right, but he showed us what to do when the world turns silent. Okay, survival mode is real. All right, I want you to know that many of us grew up in survival mode. I just did a video on that. And I gave 5 signs that would be an example if you were brought up in survival mode. So if you were brought up in survival mode, you might be feeling like it's just normal, but it's not. We were just brought up in it, and we react the way we were taught to. Okay? So if you've been living in survival mode, it's because your body and your spirit have been trying to protect you. So a lot of times we do it out of fear because of the beliefs that we were brought up with around money, around betrayal, around so many things. Like our parents were in fear and they put that fear on us, okay? But survival isn't your destiny. So I believe my purpose is to help women find their fire again, and also how to turn pain into purpose. Because if you have a purpose, it will change your entire world. I believe we all are here to have a purpose. And when we are not living and leaning into our purpose, we can feel lost. We can feel like empty inside. But when we have our purpose, that brings us our fire. So that's my job. That's my assignment. So I want you to know that you were created for more. You can't see it yet, but Yahweh is building something inside of you during this season, okay? Um, and that can't be shaken by who left, who betrayed you, who ended, or what broke. Okay, it could be a job. There's a lot of job losses right now. AI is going to be taking over so many positions. There's some positions it won't be able to, but there's robots and AI and jobs are laying people off. There's a lot of wild things going on. So I want to help you prepare. I want you to know what's available. I want you to be strong and have a fire that is unstoppable. Like this happens and you're like, boop, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? Like you're going to pivot and you're going to be cool with it. What did Yeshua do when doors were closed? Okay, let's talk about it. In Luke 5:16, he says, Yeshua often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. So isolation can be good because it gives you a chance to build your discernment. Gives you a chance to grow closer in your faith and in a bigger purpose. And but I will also say, too much time in isolation, I think, can be detrimental. I will say that. So I don't know if you are in isolation, put it in the comments. If you're in an isolation period of your life, I want to know. Because I know, because of my own personal experience, too much isolation is not good. Too long of one. that makes sense. And if you are in isolation, tell me how long you've been in isolation. Okay. I have my notes and I went too far. So here we are. Oh. That's when you were called to lead. You can't dim your light to make others comfortable. That's the other thing. So many times I think we don't use our voices. We are just quiet. We were taught not to question leaders, the government. Yahweh wants us to be questioned, people. Okay? Just because they're told us this is what we have to do, or you have to go to church to the four walls of a building in order to be saved. No. Okay? I don't believe that. That's my belief, okay? I know that because he's already in us. Do you know that? We are a piece of Yahweh. You can't take that away. Okay? We already have the fire. Sometimes it just gets like quiet. Sometimes it's like almost out. But it's already in us, okay? Joshua himself walked through that road first. He faced betrayal, abandonment, and silence. But he never lost his fire. That is so cool. And neither will we. All right? So your fire might be just dim, but it's not out. Okay? So this is for the woman. If you feel alone, the one you feel like you've been doing everything right, you might have been slapped across the face in shock with some new news. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't even see this coming. I get it. Oh, but everything seems to be falling apart. Okay. And that was part of my that was something that I experienced. And so for a long part of my isolation was just thinking, I don't even get what's going on. What is happening? And I had hyper focus on that because I'm naturally an investigator at heart. And I'm like trying to figure out everything. What is going on? And I spent so much time doing that. And that was a waste of my time, honestly. I started listening to the wrong people, not knowing what messages were for me. So many things just prolonged me firing back up. Oh, like I don't even know how to explain it. I went through phases, but I didn't take proper action that I should have, you know. I wasted a lot of time because things just didn't make sense and I was trying to figure it out. So maybe you've lost something, okay? And you're in your process, you're in your season of rebuilding, okay? Your marriage, your job, your direction. And now it feels like every door around you has closed. Maybe you're applying for a bunch of jobs and you're not getting any answers. No one's hiring, you know? I believe there's a reason for that. I believe everything, I want you to know, I believe everything happens for a reason. So if you are getting a lot of doors closed on you, that's because that's not your door. And also, I will say, who wants to go work for a corporation that doesn't give you any freedom and no pay? All right? No, you don't want that. And you're not going to settle. Okay, I believe that's settling because it's too hard to get by with just this little dinky income, especially if you're now alone and you don't have a man and you've been betrayed and you're in separation or divorce. Okay, we got to become financially independent. All right, maybe you've lost something. Okay, I already said that. And now it feels like every door around you is closed. Okay, you're going to breathe. All right, I lost that spot, but I found it now. Okay, you were created to move. You were created for more. But we can't, when you're in isolation, sometimes you just can't see it. You don't even know which direction to go. But Yahweh is building something inside of you that can't be shaken by who left, what ended, or what broke. Oh, that's where I was. Luke 5:16 says, Yeshua often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. He didn't fight the silence, he leaned into it. I don't know where you are in your spiritual, your faith, but I'm here to tell you that prayers are answered. Sometimes it's not right away, but today, oh, I had an experience that it was like that, and I'm going to share that with you. He didn't chase validation. He didn't chase connection. When his hometown rejected him, he didn't beg to belong. He moved on to the next town and kept walking in his assignment. So sometimes you're not sure what your assignment is. So you're trying to figure out you got to do some deep soul searching to figure out your gifts because we all have experiences in our life, right? And those experiences mold us into who we become. But you've learned something along the way. You've learned how to overcome a lot of your experiences. And so based on that, a lot of times those will be key indicators of what your purpose will be. All right. So he moved on to the next town and he kept walking in his assignment. And when he was led into the wilderness, hungry, tired, and tempted, he stood firm. And when he came out, Luke 4 says he returned in the power of the Spirit. If Yeshua needed isolation to be prepared for evaluation, so do we. So how does this apply to you? You may be in the wilderness right now. You may be surrounded by silence, but heaven is not quiet. Closed doors aren't rejection, they're redirection. Isolation isn't abandonment, it's an alignment. Okay, we need to get realigned with our purpose, our fire. We need to find our voice. And once we get all that, the right people, we want to be aligned with the right people that need us, right? Or even just those people that think like us. Okay, and the wilderness seasons aren't punishment. They're proof that Yahweh trusts you with purpose. So here's my message for you today. Stop waiting for everyone else to understand your process. Yahweh didn't call them. He called you. And the same power that brought Yeshua out of isolation and victory is bringing you out with glory. So here's some affirmations that you can declare. I am not abandoned. I am aligned. Isolation is my invitation to intimacy. Closed doors are protection, not rejection. I will come out of this wilderness in power. So if you're walking through this season right now, stay faithful. Stay expectant. Expect for wonderful things to happen. Expect for the right people to show up. Expect for the doors, the right doors, that your doors will open for you. All right? Because this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your real, you want a real legacy. Okay? You want to create a real legacy. And let me tell you what happened to me too. Okay? So I said this prayer, and it was, please, thank you for another day. That's another thing I didn't mention in this, gratitude. So sometimes when you're in isolation, you could feel like I've lost everything, and you could just feel kind of bitter, about where you're at, about other people. I want you to know that the fact that you and I got another day, that is amazing. That's a blessing. So if you woke up today, think of it like this. If you woke up today, that's enough reason to be grateful, because so many people didn't get that opportunity. So if you woke up, you're breathing, you're alive, thank him for that. So I started out I start my prayers out like that. Thank you for another day, for giving me breath in my lungs, for my children and their impact. I pray for discernment. I pray for strength and courage to know what's for me, to give me direction, all those things. Okay. So I thanked him. I prayed for discernment to know what's for me. And let me tell you what happened after I ended my prayer. So amazing. I look at my phone to see what time it is, and it says 5:55 a.m. Okay, 5:55. Then I look to see what is the spiritual meaning of 5:55. I'm going to tell you because I think this is important. I want you to hear how crazy, based on my prayer. Then, I wanted a sign. This is amazing. Listen to this. Oh, that's not the one. This was so cool. Hang with me. I thought I would have had it right there but I did get back into the internet. Oh my goodness sakes. Hold on. I know how to find it. Do you guys use ChatGPT? Do you use ChatGPT? Okay. Well, that's where I asked. Oh my goodness. Basically, oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. This is so amazing. 550. I'm sorry, this took so long. Just move it up. Okay. 555 means for me, for me, based on my prayer. Okay. Major life changes. And even if you Googled, okay, if you Googled, what is the spiritual meaning of 555? Your isolation isn't wasted. It's a womb, not a prison. 555 confirms that the season you're in is shifting into a new chapter, one where the preparation you've endured meets opportunity. New beginnings. It also means new beginnings. You've been hesitant. What if I start the wrong thing? Sometimes things, you know what I mean? It also means personal evolution. It means you're evolving. You're stepping into this new space. Okay. Divine alignment. You already know he's the architect. 555 is a reassurance that you are on time and you don't need to force it. And it's also about positive transformation. You guys, is that the most amazing thing? If you missed that, okay, I had a prayer asking for questions, asking for guidance, I just want to know, I want you all to know that he answers prayers. Okay, sometimes it's a sign, sometimes it's not right away, but mine was right away. I looked at my phone after my prayer and it was there. Boom. Absolutely incredible. I wanted to cry. I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, unbelievable. So, anyway, I hope part of this message touched someone today, because if it touched just one person, okay, then I did my job. Stay tuned for more on this. We are building something incredible right now. This is a community of women that are ready to light the fire under their you know what's, okay, in your soul. Okay, let's reignite your fire. I don't care what season you're in. I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things right now. We need to come together and create something that's very unique and beautiful. And I know that I needed someone like me, just so you know. Okay, so find people that align with you. So if this message found you, it was supposed to. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notifications so that you can find me next time when I go live. I appreciate you for being here. Love you.